Vaping, the social crisis in the guise of a health risk. So what is vaping? Highly marketed by the tobacco industry as a healthy alternative to reduce and stop adult cigarette smoking and nicotine addiction, e-cigarettes initially hit the market in 2007. But on its self-acclaimed path to end cigarette-based nicotine dependency among adults, this industry has sparked its own personalized and highly profitable addiction among a vulnerable population in our society, our youth. Due to its guise as a health issue, vaping among youth is losing its position as a societal shift that requires remodeling. This is most concerning and needs to be given due attention before the next global shift occurs, as did in 1612 when cigarettes were first manufactured and spread among the masses. This rapid rise of vaping culture among youth, the cloud chasers, Vape Nation, is marked by its own social identity. From its fascinating array of flavors, digitized look, cool tricks, customizability, ability to be used discreetly, and its projected sense of harmlessness, it has become accepted and normalized within the social circles of young adults and teenagers. So how do they work? Vaping and e-cigarette devices allow users to inhale heated vape juice or e-juice, a substance that is formulated of aerosols and nicotine. Now let's talk profit. By 2013, sales reached $1 billion in the United States, and in 2014, global sales reached an astronomical $6.5 billion. Today, youth are vaping now more than ever. Over the last 5 years, the trend of vaping went from being non-existent and infrequent to dramatically popular and frequently used among youth within Canada, the United States, and England. From 2017 to 2018, there was a 74% increase in youth aged 16 to 19 vaping in Canada. In 2019, more than 5.2 million young people in the United States reported current use, including 27.5% of high school students and 10.5% middle school students. The issues associated with vaping products are severe. From 1, the emergence of sudden lung illnesses associated with vaping products, and 2, the rise of cigarette smoking among youth who vape, with youth who vape being 3 times as likely to begin cigarette smoking.
Canada has made strides in terms of implementing solutions that prioritize youth health, although we certainly have a long way to go. Schools and universities have placed bans on vaping product use within a certain distance of the institution. At the provincial level, government-run awareness campaigns continue to occur after being launched in 2019. The Government of Canada has enforced regulation of e-cigarette marketing and sales to ensure that youth and young adults are not being enticed into purchasing them. Juul Canada sees its use of social media to market their products. The collaboration of stakeholders at all these levels is essential. Let me explain. When parents and educators receive information on the risks of vaping and using e-cigarettes, they're more likely to influence youth and young adults' vaping habits for the better. This information needs to come from verified sources such as the Ministry of Health or Lung Association of Canada. This leads to increasing demand from the general public, health officials, and the government to apply stringent policies that regulate the production, sale, and marketing of products. Due to the political and geographical proximity between the US and Canada, Canada followed the US's regulation policies in late 2019. Now let's pause. It took national and international action in order for change to be established regarding vaping product manufacturing, production, sale, and marketing. Yet what's missing is a culture shift for vaping habits among non-smoking youth and young adults. Through the gaps and levers of change, we'll understand the necessity of interprofessional collaboration to resolve this. Within schools and universities, a lack of communication exists between youth and influencers. Vaping policies need to be revised holistically that are inclusive of marketing, sale, consequences of social exchanging, and monitoring on campus sites. Manufacturers do not have to follow youth-sensitive safety standards with regards to the nicotine and THC levels in their products. This can only change when government regulations become more strict and importing policies are modified to offer much safer and less addictive products. The Canadian Cancer Society urges provinces to increase the minimum age to 21 for the sale of both tobacco and vaping products. Lastly, there's no empirical evidence that vaping products serve as intended. Thus, more research needs to be done and a referral program must be implemented and assessed to ensure that vaping products only reach those who need it as opposed to everyone that wants it. The bottom line is that we must unmask vaping as a health issue and identify it as a social issue only when we work together to prioritize the respiratory health of our youth of tomorrow.
Hi, thank you for sharing your time with me today. My project is called Young Leaders. It's addressing the adolescence changes and challenges that young women face. I am Ahad, a designer and artist who with time developed a self-responsibility in finding solutions for everyday life challenges with a lot of passion. Adolescence is the time between 10 to 19 years, is a unique and formative time where multiple physical, emotional, and social changes happen, including exposure to poverty, abuse, or violence, which can make adolescents vulnerable to mental health problems. I'll speak about three challenges today, starting with social media effects and influence. In today's digital world, children are wide-eyed for fame. They have found huge audiences on social platforms, and they spend hours scrolling through an infinite feed, hoping one day they might get a similar attention. As a result, there has been a lot of worry about adolescents and social media over the last year, with new studies and reports raising questions about mental health and vulnerability, sleep and suicide, which has increased lately between young girls. The other challenge is the increase in young girls' mental health. Over the last decades, mental health has been a major concern among young females. To better understand the nature of mental health problems, there should be a focused effort to limit anxiety and depression associated with adolescence. And the last challenge is low self-esteem and confidence in young girls. Girls and young women are affected deeply by the socialization of gender and a wide range of social concerns. There are timeless questions on how young women should cope with the changes of puberty and how social factors might affect it. I'll speak about two existing solution efforts. One is leadership training and skills to young women. Leadership can help young women change their perspective to leadership by making it an accessible concept for people of all genders. Leadership should be inclusive and beyond narrow and predominant masculine approaches. Currently, there is an effort to promote an inclusive leadership approach and encourage students to share their challenges and identify their limitations. The second would be higher awareness on mental health. There has been a change in how governments are responding to health needs of adolescents. The World Health Organization, WHO, has covered facts on adolescents' health as a global situation, addressing the importance to develop their social and emotional habits. The consequences of not addressing adolescents' mental health conditions will extend to adulthood. As a result, impairing both physical and mental health and limiting opportunities to lead fulfilling lives as adults. Girls and young women are affected deeply by the socialization of gender. Leadership training helps girls recognize that they're not beholden to social norms of feminine behavior, and instead, to be more confident to express themselves. I feel it's important to teach teenagers and young women who will go through the real-life challenges on how to be the next generation of female leaders while highlighting their inner strengths and characteristics. That could reduce the challenges young women face. I'll speak about the gaps and lever of change of three different examples. The first is the absence of leadership education for adolescents in schools. The lever of change is to amend the school curriculum to include leadership training as part of the syllabus. For example, to create an inclusive school leadership program with the Ontario Ministry of Education that works with young women to address their issues and challenges. Another example is to create a dedicated women health department that specializes only in women issues in World Health Organization. The second gap is the lack of awareness of social media use among adolescents. The lever of change is to raise awareness about ignorant misuse of technology. For example, to grant Ontario school curriculum with the fundamentals of digital lives around young women. Also, to market weekly tips and tools designed specifically to help young women develop their own skills and habits through the digital world on common use applications. And finally, female leadership is underrepresented to young women. The lever of change is to set higher goals for young women by surrounding them with female leaders to narrow the gender gap and increase their ambitions. Seeing women in charge will change expectations for younger women and their families. For example, to provide female leaders workshops for young women to lead by example, supported by Ontario's Ministry of Education. Thank you for your time. I hope to see you very soon. Stay safe.
I want to congratulate all of the students who have worked so diligently to do this excellent work and to develop their thinking, do the visual work, and submit their digital presentation. This has been quite a unique offering of Map the System, given the times that we're living in, and everyone has been very nimble and creative, and the work has shown to great effect, and we now will have a record of it for posterity, which we may not have had we gone live in a celebration. I want to mention just before we close that there's a funding opportunity for any student who has successfully completed Map the System. It's called Apprentice with a Problem Fund. It's offered through the Office of Social Innovation. And the fund provides up to $3,000 for participants, as I said, who have completed Map the System and want to continue with their research on a systemic, social, or environmental issue, and have a community partner or a faculty member to work with them. If you are interested in that, please contact any one of us at the Office of Social Innovation, and we do look forward to hearing from you. Once again, congratulations to everyone for your excellent work, and this completes the celebration community presentations of Map the System 2020. Bye for now.